Monday, November 7th, and this is Geeknights. Tonight, we'll be discussing window managers and some other crap. Let's do this. Ha 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 ha.
Let's do this.
Let's do this.
All right. So Paris is still burning.
Wait, it's not burning like in the olden days.
The picture on the news right now shows something burning.
Yeah, okay, so it's not burning down like when they burn the whole thing down.
No, there's no Bastille going down yet.
But, I mean, people are burning a lot of cars and houses.
Yeah, they finally killed someone.
Okay, they got one guy. Great.
Though, apparently, the only real news now is that...
Oh, wait, the police got someone?
No, some kids killed an old man.
Oh.
They beat him up while he was trying to put out a trash fire.
Oh, I thought the police finally killed one rioter.
No, they've arrested thousands. It's not doing anything.
Oh, okay.
No
Did they
offense.
have a jail that big?
I don't know what they're doing.
Did they
with
reopen the Bastille?
The news isn't so informative. The only real news is that the rioting has spread to Belgium and apparently some German suburbs now, too.
I don't think it's that widespread there because I was listening to another podcast. A guy's in Belgium today.
Oh, no, it's not because both of those countries reacted immediately.
No, okay. Yeah, rioting. Poor people.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people in the news are trying to blame this on the Muslims who are rioting and the North Africans who are rioting, but the only common thread is that they're all poor.
If you're poor, you don't have a job, you got nothing to do, you got no money, you riot.
Or you do something else.
So worse, almost as bad as rioters is SEO.
So what do they do now?
So SEO has demanded from IBM information about Linux kernel version 2.7.
Because that exists.
That's the story.
I want 2.7. I want that information now, too.
Well, so far, they've discussed it on the mailing list. There isn't, I don't think, a single line of code in it. There's no 2.7. There's a theoretical 2.7.
There's a theoretical 9.
Yep.
I'd love to be there physically at the trial when I could see SEO standing there and they've made their claim. And they say what they want. And then the IBM guy stands up and says, that doesn't exist. You might as well have asked me for the flying spaghetti monster's noodly appendage.
But the flying spaghetti monster is real.
Damn straight. Yeah, though that stupid intelligent design trial is over. It's over. It's over.
Well, if it's over, how come the judge hasn't said anything?
Because now the judge is sitting in his room thinking about whether he's going to side with science or crazy.
What takes him so long to think? You're a judge. You've heard everything. There's nothing new to hear.
Maybe he only works like Monday through Friday, so he had the weekend off, and now he's going to make his decision today, and he'll say it tomorrow. I don't know.
So he's going to say it on a different day than he comes up with it?
I don't know. I don't know how that works.
I think he's a lazy judge trying to get a little vacation.
Yeah, the only funny thing that came out of it was that the Vatican came out and said that ID is crap.
I don't know if that was just one...
No,
I don't know if that was the
Cardinal.
Vatican or just a guy.
It is the official position of the Vatican unless the Pope says otherwise.
Yeah. Man, there's a story about it on Slashdot. I scrolled down.
Yeah.
And there was one guy who was like, I'm an ID proponent, whatever. Everyone else was just like, science, woot! Right?
Uh-huh.
But even that guy didn't know what ID... He didn't know what ID was, and he was a proponent of it. He just didn't get it. So, yeah. Of course, some people are that way about Darwinism also. They're opponents of it, and they don't know what it is.
People tend to be opponents of things that they don't really understand.
That's because they think they understand them, and they're proponents of what they think. Anyone's a proponent of what they think.
Yeah, because I'm very much a fan of Rim is Awesome Ice.
You think wrong. Who is that?
I don't know.
That's good. That means we don't have to pay attention.
It's someone local. I have no idea who it is.
Yeah, screw it.
Anyway.
We'll have to cut that out or something. I don't know. We could leave it. Doesn't matter. So that guy was on death row.
Okay, so a guy was on death row. What'd he do?
He escaped.
No, I mean, what did he do to get on death row?
I don't know. I didn't read that part.
I mean, is this a real murdered 10 kids?
Oh, yeah, he was a bad guy.
Okay,
no doubt. Anyway, but he escaped. They thought that like someone helped him escape, like this anti-death row group, but they were acquitted. They didn't do anything.
Uh-huh.
This guy just like I think he walked out like I don't know how he got out, but anyway, he was on the run. So they made a huge manhunt, of course, which is what they should do.
Yeah.
And they got him. He was drunk in a phone booth.
Awesome.
Because, when I escape from prison, I'm going to get drunk and hang out in phone booths where I won't get caught.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I would have gone one step further.
I mean, you could have gone to Mexico.
Put out the classified ad, hey, escaped serial killer looking for some, I don't know, whatever escaped serial killers are looking for.
I'd just go to freaking Mexico or something where they couldn't get me. I wouldn't hang around and get drunk in the country that I'm running away from. Obviously.
Well, let me put it this way. He's on death row, so whatever he did, he got caught. If you're not smart enough to avoid the police, you're probably not smart enough to avoid them again.
Yeah.
He could have run to Somalia.
Where the pirates are?
Where the pirates are, and where apparently the reason there's pirates is because there's no government at all.
There was a government.
There hasn't been a government in Somalia for a fairly long time.
So it's just anarchy?
Pretty much. Ever since the ruling party was deposed, there's really no consensus as to what the actual government of the country is.
So why don't we just go there and do something?
Because the country's split into these 5...
No, I'm talking about you and me.
Oh, the country's split into these 5, fiefdoms, and they're run by these warlords, and they each have their own army.
Oh, okay, so there is someone in charge.
Yeah, but there's no more
We can't
Somalia.
just go in and set up our own warlordness.
No, but Somalia is just a bunch of little, bickering countries now.
All right, what are you going to do?
So after this whole pirate attack, the U.S. said, hey, clean up your act, and Somalia said...
We're a bunch of warlords. What are you going to do?
We don't have ships. We don't care. Go away.
We'll pirate you if you come near here.
Help us. You can clear out the pirates. We won't stop you.
Yeah, arr. Pirates.
No, I wouldn't have even brought up the pirate attack. I mean, that happens all the time, and it's not that big a deal, but these
the
were
captain was awesome.
This was probably the most interesting pirate attack in the last couple years.
Yeah, there's some interesting pirate attacks.
Yeah, this one was pretty interesting. I mean,
the thing was, it was a cruise ship. It wasn't like a boat full of stuff.
Yep. It was a cruise ship, and the pirates had RPGs.
Well, they always have RPGs.
Yeah, and they fired a whole bunch of them at the cruise ship. And
they always do that. It's not the part that separates
They really
it.
only succeeded in breaking a few windows.
Well, no, they blew up one cabin, but no one was in it.
No, one person was in it. She was taking a bath, so she didn't get hit by the shrapnel.
That's not what I read.
That's what I read.
Conflicting stories.
In fact, I'm looking at that story right now. There's another guy, he's a World War II veteran, and he was trying to take a picture of one of the pirates, and, quote, the man with the bazooka aimed it right at me, and I saw a big flash. Needless to say, I dropped the camera and dived. The grenade struck 2 decks above and about 4 rooms further forward. I could tell the guy firing the bazooka was smiling.
Great.
Apparently, the captain of the cruise ship tried to ram the pirates a couple times.
Yep, and he totally ran away with his ultra-fast cruise ship.
Yep, there was some quote where the captain said something to the effect of, I didn't know this thing could go that fast.
Yeah, but the stories I read didn't have passengers doing stuff. It was like all the passengers were shoved into the center of the ship, and the captain got everyone off the deck, and, no one got hurt. And
yep, no one got hurt. They all got good stories. I imagine they all get refunds or something.
Well, I can imagine they're going to finish their cruise first.
Yeah, well, the ship was kind of RPG'd. I think they have to put them on a different ship.
Nah, it still works. Boats, very hard to sink a boat,
Yeah, but there's
That's
rules.
why you think about that Titanic. It sunk when it hit this iceberg. It's so hard to do. The iceberg was so big. Oh, my God. I mean... you hear oil spills.
Here it is.
So much.
Quote, a woman survived an explosion in her stateroom simply because she was taking a bath at the time. Others flung themselves to the floor to avoid bullets that were zipping through the ship. They were only gathered after the pirates attacked.
The story I read was like an RPG hit the boat and exploded and it blew up a cabin, but no one was in it.
Well, there was a woman in that cabin.
Maybe it was a different cabin, 2 different RPGs, who knows?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
some other pirates went down today. Grokster's gone.
Well, they were gone before.
Now they're actually gone. They had to pay $50 million, and they're out of business.
All right. It's one more P2P network that's gone.
Luckily, we still have the Pirates Bay.
Arr. Unlike the Somalian pirates.
Yeah, Pirates Bay has a... yeah.
Yeah. It's much better at pirating, and it doesn't kill people with RPGs.
Unless they download Final Fantasy VII. But
it's bad.
That was awesome.
That was bad.
That was awesome.
That was just bad.
Well, you could have done better.
Even though Somalia has no government, We have a government.
Yeah, what about it?
We vote for it tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, Election Day.
But it's just shitty town government.
See, I was excited because I like the town we live in, Beacon, and I wanted to get active. But I read the proposals of the two sides, and it's all either FUD or just straight up BS, and neither one of them actually has a position.
Well, the thing is, those are just like the vote for me pamphlets. We have to find like the position things, which is not easy to find because apparently the town is internet incompetent.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go in and vote, but I don't think I'm going to vote for any people. I'm only going to vote on any propositions that may happen to be.
Yeah, I'm going to go in and I'll look at it, and I'll look and I'll see if there's anything that looks like I want to vote for it. I'll click it, and everything else I'll just leave it. Whatever.
Yeah, well, there's supposed to be some town propositions and stuff, and maybe we can vote for a judge, but...
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's even a story on Fark today about how I think less than a quarter of people are going to vote in this election because no one cares. Nothing's at stake.
Yep. If there's a school board voting, I'll vote for the non-incumbent school board.
I think I'm going to vote for a non-incumbent anything forever until things change.
Yeah, but that won't make things change, I don't think.
It would if everyone did, but not everyone will.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, well. What are you going to do?
I'm going to get me a DS and my Wi-Fi.
We already have a DS. It already has Wi-Fi. It just doesn't have a game to play.
Yeah, Mario Kart's coming out. When's it coming out?
The 14th. I'm going to be there ASAP. And I'll become the Grandmaster of Mario Kart DS as I was the Grandmaster of Mario Kart GBA.
We'll see.
It's not even like a C. It's you will see because it will happen. It's not. It's like there isn't doubt.
But at least apparently it works with every freaking router, unless you're using WPA, then it won't work.
Yeah, but if you don't have an open wireless or a WEP wireless or a Buffalo AOSS access point you can use, you can use the little USB thingy.
Yeah, the little dongle.
So, like, if the only access around is like a pay T-Mobile hotspot, well, the DS can't really use that, but your laptop can use that, and then you put the USB thing in the laptop, and then you're good. But I don't know if it's Windows only, which I'm pretty sure it is. So that's
From what I've read, it's Windows XP only.
Oh, that's really kind of bleh. I mean, at least all Windowses and Mac. I mean, I can understand if you're not Linuxy, but you should be Linuxy, though.
Yeah, you should.
Hell, they should make it like...
Mac people are real ticked that it's not Mac-friendly.
You know what they could have done? They could have made it like a Java app to start it up. Who would have thought of that, huh?
Ha ha.
Yeah, bastards. Now if I'm somewhere where, there's no, wireless that the DS can actually use, I'm SOL.
Yeah, but that's fine, because I still have a million single-player games to beat.
Yeah, I'm just not going to buy the USB thing, I don't think.
We don't need it.
Well, we don't need it in the house, but what if we go somewhere?
I imagine places like Otakon and all the other cons we go to.
Here, what if you go to like a hotel and they have pay wireless? I mean, there are actually a couple hotels signed up to have DS access points the same way McDonald's does. I think it was like participating Regencies or something like that. I don't remember. But, what if I go to like, Marriott was not one of the ones listed.
We wouldn't pay for that anyway. I mean, at the Renaissance where we stay for Otakon every year, it's like $10 a day to get access.
I can't believe they charge. Oh my god!
Because business travelers pay it.
They're so dumb.
Because their company picks up the tab.
Oh, my company. What if I go somewhere on a business trip? My company picks up the tab. How am I need to?
When's your company going to send you on a business trip?
They almost sent me to Florida a long time ago.
Great. So you get to go to Florida. I get to go to like Connecticut.
Connecticut's cool.
Not Windsor, Connecticut. It's just a little suburb.
Yeah. Most of Connecticut is a suburb. In fact, the whole state is pretty much a suburb.
Ha ha.
Except for like 2 cities and a nuclear submarine factory. The rest of it's suburb. All of it.
Huh?
Whole thing. So, on the internet today, well actually kind of yesterday, there was this website that said Greatest Internet Moments.
Is this a real list or is this a stupid list?
Well, the list, it wasn't any sort of official list, but the good thing about this site is it brought back many lost artifacts.
Welcome to Zombocom.
Zombocom wasn't one of them, at least not one I saw.
What?
It might have been there, I just didn't see it, but it had, it reminded me of the Chow Chow, the little stick figure fighting.
Oh!
And it reminded me of Radiskull.
I am the raddest skull.
Yeah, and it reminded me of the long-lost Hayuchi.
Oh, God. We'll have to link to that because I don't even know what to call it.
Well, people haven't seen that. A lot of people who've only been around since, recently, they never saw this stuff.
Well, actually, it was a while ago. I was at work, and they'd all discovered banana phone. Ling, ling, ling,
Oh,
ling,
great.
ling, banana
Oh,
phone.
God.
So they discovered it, and they were laughing at it. And I was like, oh, it's just like badgers. And they're like, what now? Badgers. What's this?
They didn't know the badgers.
So I had to show them the badgers.
There was a guy I heard on a podcast today. It seemed to me like he just discovered the Numa Numa dance.
Oh, the Numa Numa dance.
Let's see, a Star Wars
My
kid. That's
my
it.
Yahoo.
Yeah, Star Wars kid. And I think that's just, I can't think of any other ones, but this website was just loaded with all that stuff, and you bring it back. Homestar was on there,
Homestar's still going, but I don't watch it anymore.
Well, it was real good in the day, but I just kind of lost interest. I imagine it's still the same, but it's just more of the same.
No, because remember the good old days before the gimmicks?
I'm 75% sure that my email was the gimmick email.
Yeah.
I have it somewhere.
That's your claim to fame here.
Of course, I think they changed, my name on it and stuff. Whatever. You see anything cool?
Actually, there's something weird out of Korea, because everything weird that happens comes out of Korea.
Nowadays.
But it isn't the usual stuff. It isn't like kid dies playing video games or crazy moon water. It's this 8-year-old who's going to university.
It happens all the time.
Yeah, Song Yu-gwen wants to build flying cars and all this other stuff, apparently.
Yeah, I remember when I was in 2nd grade, and they were like, what's it going to be like in the year 2000? And everyone was like, flying cars! And I made a flying car out of constructs, but it's year 2005. There's no fucking flying cars.
The thing is, the article isn't real informative, and as I read it, it looks... There's no oh, you scored this well on this test, or blah, blah, blah. And there's a chance that this is some sort of crazy publicity stunt.
Could be a crazy publicity stunt.
It was just a slow day on the internet, and this was the coolest thing I saw.
I think if we actually educated kids properly, though, that they would be that smart at that age.
Yeah.
Or at least, the ones that were smart.
I mean, I remember in 5th grade, or no, God, 4th or 5th grade, one of those 2 years, they had a little pilot program. You could stay after school and they teach you algebra.
Yep, I did that in 5th grade.
And we learned algebra, and we learned that, it's real easy. Why didn't you teach us this sooner?
Yep. I remember in 1st grade, they gave us, math problems where there'd be a box, and the box might be on the other side of the equals.
Oh!
And you fill in the box. And then later, when they showed me algebra, I was like, I could have done this in freaking 1st grade. I've been bored in math class for 5 years. Why didn't you freaking say something?
Yeah, I think the educators in this country really underestimate kids sometimes.
Well, no child left behind.
Yeah, gotta go to that lowest common denominator.
I think everyone underestimates kids. If we let kids run the country, then we wouldn't have a deficit. We wouldn't have a war. We wouldn't have...
I imagine we'd have some other problems.
Like?
All the retirement money and Social Security would probably disappear.
I don't know. The kids like their grandparents.
Yeah.
Grandparents spoil them. They might let them have it.
I picture wars starting over silly things.
At least it's young versus old is better than poor versus rich.
Yeah. Of course, remember, the U.S. didn't sign the Human Rights Accord specifically because the Human Rights Accord gave rights to children.
Well, no, they specifically didn't sign it for other reasons. That's just one of the
That was
things.
one of the reasons, one of the main ones, because they didn't... The way it was worded, technically, you couldn't take... America, children aren't allowed to sign contracts and things like that.
Yeah.
And legally, that would make it so children can sign contracts.
Children should be able to sign contracts.
Yeah.
In fact, you know what? There are some people who are old enough and allowed to sign contracts who shouldn't. And there are children who can who aren't allowed to. I say if you can understand the contract and prove you understand it, then you can sign it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but you can't do
age
subjective
discrimination.
things like that.
What?
You can't really have subjective measures like that.
Well, someone reads the you say
Who says they're the authority?
No, someone reads the contract. Then they explain what they just read. If they're accurate, then they can sign it.
Who do they explain it to? What if the person...
The lawyers.
Because the
judge.
lawyers are... Because the judge is always the smartest person, not just the elected schmo who...
Even if he's not the smartest person, he's a judge. He judges. That's his job.
Yeah,
He's the one who judges.
I don't know how much I trust some judges sometimes.
So you need a jury to sit there and listen to someone describe the contract they just read to prove that they understand what they're signing.
I don't trust a jury for crap. The only people on a jury are people who can't get
It
out of
has
jury
to be
duty.
someone who decides things. We have people deciding things. We need someone to decide. That's who it is. It's a judge.
Yeah,
That's the way it works.
See, the thing is,
if you don't like what a judge decides, you can get a smarter judge who's been a judge for longer. You get like 4 tries. It
doesn't
usually
matter,
works.
because that's not how it is.
It's not how it is, but it's how it should be.
We'll see. Well, we won't see, because things probably won't ever change. Not anytime soon, anyway.
No, not soon.
Unless we get some Parising happening around here.
We're not going to have Parising around here.
Nah.
But all of Europe might Paris.
Nah, I don't think Germany will.
No.
Italy, they're fine. They'll just ride their scooters.
Well,
ciao!
Well, France will Paris.
Yeah. I mean, if you look back historically, this isn't the first time that, the poor rioted in Paris. Remember the whole Paris Commune?
No. I remember Vive le Roi.
Vive le Roi!
And what was that guy's name?
Horatio Hornblower?
No. The French guy.
That narrows it down a lot.
The
Count de Monet?
No, the evil guy.
Who, Robespierre?
Yes!
You just remember Robespierre because of that game we used to play.
No, actually, I didn't think of it until you said his name. The game did not come before in the thought. You said Robespierre, and I was like, that was the guy. And then the card appeared in my head with his face on it afterwards. And then you said it.
Not Louis the 16th?
No, he sucks.
Not whoever was against Horatio in that one episode of Hornblower?
No, he sucks.
Yeah.
What was that cake lady?
Oh, you mean Marie Antoinette?
Yeah, that lady.
Let them eat cake?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have no bread. Let them eat cake.
Yes, an accurate rendition of what she actually said in those fated final days. Complete with the accurate period voice, I might add.
Off with your head.
So, it's Science and Tech Day.
All right.
And we can't argue about science, so we'll argue about tech.
All
window
right.
managers! Woo!
I've pretty much tried every window manager there is.
I have tried 4 of them.
And they all suck.
Yeah, but in different ways.
Always in a different way.
See, I've noticed a lot of people, just like people I talk to at work or people I talk to on the street or just people who don't use Linux or they don't use it much. Picking a window manager is one of the first problems they have because that's not even a consideration in Windows.
It is. There used to be that light step thing, or I don't know I think it still exists.
But all those things you had to go out and get. By default, you install Windows, and you get Windows.
Well, by default, if you install Ubuntu, you get GNOME. If you install Kubuntu, you get KDE.
Yeah.
And there was just a thing. Mark Shuttleworth is using Kubuntu, and he wants Kubuntu to become because right now Kubuntu is like the back seat. He wants Kubuntu to be like in the passenger seat right next to Ubuntu.
I don't like KDE so much.
I don't like it so much either, but apparently some people do. And KDE distributions are dying left and right. So, I mean, KDE was the first window manager I used ever. I mean, it was back in the back days. It was KDE 1.
Yep.
Then KDE 2 came out, and I was like,
and did 3 come out? And
yeah.
then 4?
Well, no. Is 4 out? I don't know what version's out now, but when 2 came out, it was like 100 times better than 1. And then when 3 came out, it was a little bit better than 2. And then I discovered other things, and KDE was poop.
Yeah.
The real KDE would be good. The problem is it uses the Qt library, which I don't like as much as the GTK library at all. It's all bled. It's not. None of the skins for it even look good. They're all ugly and bloated, and not even considering the licensing issues.
Well, plus KDE itself, I mean, unless you pre-link it, it's slow as fuck.
Oh, it's slow. Horrendously slow.
Pre-linking will fix that, but a lot of people don't want to go through the trouble of pre-linking.
I don't pre-link. It's not worth the effort.
I pre-link, but I have an older, slower computer, and I need to pre-link.
Yeah. I'm thinking about buying a dual CPU Athlon 64 machine someday.
Ooh.
Maybe a dual core. Then I won't need to pre-link anything. But the real problem with KDE is that there's just so many options. It's like you open an options window, there's like a hajillion checkboxes.
And yet, even though there's so many options, half the time I still wouldn't find exactly what I wanted to do.
Yep, it's just not in there. There are some good things with KDE, like Kparts.
Yeah.
Kparts is good, which lets you put any pieces of programs in others. So like you'll be using one program, and like Kmail will creep into the same window, you know. And some of the KDE programs are good. I guess KOPete is okay. It's like the GAIM of KDE. Kwrite, Kmail, they're okay.
I mean, I guess I look at KDE and GNOME as being pretty much equivalent because they're both the giant window managers full of stuff.
Oh, because they're not just a window manager; they're a desktop environment.
Yeah, they come with utilities.
It's like in GNOME. In GNOME, the window manager is Metacity. You can use just Metacity if you want.
I actually use Metacity with IceWM at work.
Look at that.
Yeah. Well, I did. I stopped doing that for reasons I won't get into now. But Metacity is kind of slow on an old machine.
Yeah, Metacity is kind of slow, but
not as slow as anything that's even remotely related to KDE.
Well, it's how it is. But, when people want all that stuff. They want it to be comfortable, and they want to have everything in a GUI, and they want to be able to do all these things.
And you know what? I do, too, because I run GNOME on my main machine.
Yeah. There are some real useful things in KDE and GNOME that you can do that you can't do without. Like, I know Nautilus lets you browse to, like, SSH, SFTPs.
Yep.
That's real useful. What else is really useful? You know what the thing is? If you use KDE or GNOME, you get a working system tray.
Yes.
No matter any other window manager desktop environment, the system tray is always broken or fickle or something.
Yeah, or IceWM is just ugly.
Ugly. Sometimes you can use a program like XY systray or things like that. But they're never perfect. You have to move them around, and they're all broken. And
I mean, GNOME right here, I've got my little system tray, and I've got my little...
Don't even think about calling it the notification area,
which
is the proper name for it.
I got my little GAIM thing, and I got my little character input thing for Japanese and Korean and all that other stuff.
No. Yeah.
Basically, you got to choose between, do you want like an all-encompassing environment that'll just work, and then you can tweak it within itself? Or do you want more customizability, but comes with that great responsibility?
Well, it's not so much that you're losing customizability, because you can use FVWM, which is infinite customizability.
Yes.
It's just not in a GUI, and it's not easy, and there's, if you
want... No, it's not easy. I tried to make an FVWM, and I started stealing things from other people, because other people have made these freaking amazing FVWM desktops where things fly around and everything's pretty and perfect. But they're so customized to the person who made it, I can't even use them.
The real problem with FVWM is that you can do anything technically, but to do things that are outside the normal bounds of what FVWM does, you have to do something crazy hackish. Like, if you want something to fly across the screen, there isn't a function like, make it fly across the screen to the right. You pretty much have to, like, redraw it, moving it to the right by X pixels and write a function that does it with a loop. And you have to actually program stuff, and sometimes you don't program it directly like that. Sometimes it's like, use some other obscure thing and bind it to an event and then force the event to happen artificially and make it do something.
Yeah, scarily enough, a lot of people do that anyway. There are ricers for FVWM, and they do crazy, silly things.
Well, a lot of them just have stuff done, and once you get to the point where most of it's done, you can just keep using it.
Yep.
And if you have a lot of free time, like I did in college when I used FVWM, you could do that. But then as soon as I switched up monitor resolutions, everything fell apart, and now I just don't use it anymore because I don't have time.
Yep. There's also the real simple little ones, like IceWM is just real tiny. It looks like Windows 95, but it works.
Yeah, there's AEWM, which is kind of like that.
What's that one Steve uses, the really light, cool one?
Well, that's Ion. That's completely different.
Yeah.
But there's... In terms of little do-nothing ones, is like all the boxes, OpenBox, Fluxbox. It's just they give you like a menu and a bar in a background.
Yep.
And everything else is up to you. You can add desktops. But those don't, it's like people use those and they're like, oh, this is so great. It's like you can't even, it doesn't even do anything.
Yeah.
I can't customize it to do stuff I want. And it's just like a tiny thing that just like, it's like a placeholder. It's like, I need a window manager. Here's one that does nothing.
I mean, if you're going to do that anyway, just why even have a GUI? What are you doing?
Well, they got like a menu, and they get virtual desktop switcher.
Yeah.
That's all they get, pretty much.
Telling you, man, use terminals and rat poison.
Rat poison. I mean, I never used rat poison, but from what I gather, it's really just terminals.
Yeah. You can get like a window in a terminal, kind of.
Yeah, that's about it.
It's really not that great, but
it's like the most minimal anything.
it's the most maximal a terminal is going to be.
That's about right. But yeah, Ion, the one that Steve uses and that I'm starting to use, it's actually pretty weird because you can split up your screen. You make it a grid out of it. You can either, and it actually handles like separate monitors correctly, and it handles all this stuff. But you can get menus, and you can do stuff like you can say bind. So when I push whatever, a little prompt pops up, and then if I type in, let's say me@me.net, it'll open up a terminal in that frame that is already SSHing.
Ah.
It can do stuff like that. But all it really is just split the window up into frames, resize them, move them. Each frame can have as many windows as you want, and they all get tabbed. And that's it. And you get bindings. You can bind keyboard things to stuff.
It also does your dual screen properly.
I just said that.
I wasn't listening to it all. I can't stop looking at this horrible picture from Cluster Edge. Yeah, remember Cluster Edge? The show that was, yeah. Well, there's this picture, and I'll put a link in the post, because I think it sums up everything that this show is very succinctly.
You're not going to show the picture like the guys looking at each other or anything?
I think this picture says it all.
It's nothing to do with window managing.
I had the window open, and I turned around, and I saw it, and it just distracted me.
Oh, you don't window manager we forgot?
XFCE.
XFCE.
Oh, I've never used it.
You used it. I remember you using it.
When? No, I didn't. I ran Windows for a long time.
Anyway, XFCE is like the in-between window manager. I used it a whole lot, but now I don't. I kind of forgot about it. It's like you get the nice GUI GNOME stuff, but a lot less of it. But you actually have stuff, unlike Fluxbox, where you have like almost nothing. You get like a panel, and you can customize the panel, and there's a bunch of control panel settings you can set. And you can get menus that do things. You get themes.
Yeah, because those menus that don't do anything are just awesome.
It's like real light, and it does stuff, But it uses GTK like GNOME does.
Yeah,
it's actually pretty good. If someone has like a weak computer, they can't, and someone you would normally give KDE or GNOME, but their computer's too weak. XFCE is like the trick.
Yeah, that makes sense, because you don't want to give them, like, IceWM, because they won't be able to make it look good.
And
well, you can't make it look good.
And if you're someone who, is using something lesser, and it's not enough, but you don't like the slowness of GNOME and KDE, you can go to XFCE.
Yep.
Oh, Enlightenment. That's right.
Yeah, Enlightenment is interesting.
Well, Enlightenment 16, which is what's currently stable.
Oh, yeah, we're not even 17 all the way.
Yeah, 16, like if you saw it a few years ago, it'd blow you away. It's so cool looking, and it doesn't use as much resources as things that are less cool looking.
Yeah, but nowadays it's not so impressive.
That's really like the goal of it, is to look cool, while not using resources. But, it's not really something you can use. I mean, some people use it, but I can't. It's like... It's not practical for doing anything.
Nah, unless if you want a really cool desktop, like you see in the movies when someone's doing stuff in a movie on a computer, you could make something awesome in Enlightenment.
Yeah, but Enlightenment 17 actually looks like it's useful, and it does all sorts of OS X things, and it's it doesn't use a whole bunch of resources. It's actually really wicked fast. Uses your video card for everything like it should. It's all cool. And I got it to work. There's a live CD that you can get. It's eLive, the Enlightenment Live CD. You just put it in, you choose Enlightenment 17, and you can test it out on your computer to see what it's like. And it worked great.
Yep.
But can't get that to actually install permanently on my computer. I mean, I can install from the live CD. The distribution that's on the live CD copied to my hard drive. But if I want to use Enlightenment 17 in Gentoo or Ubuntu, I don't even think you can use it in Ubuntu or anything like that. I mean, people do it, but it's so much effort, and it's like you can ruin your computer like 10 different ways trying to get it to go. I think it'll be stable though within like a year or so, and you'll actually be
to use in Gentoo. Don't you need to have like not even tilde, but like star?
Yeah, it has the hyphen star keyword,
which is like beyond bleeding edge. It's like the knife already cut you.
Yeah, you're pretty much just stabbing yourself. You know, it's pretty much like we want to put these e-builds in here because we made them and we put them in here if you really want to use them, but you should never use them.
Yeah.
They're not for you. The trick behind Dash Star is that it's so hard to actually get something with Dash Star to install and work. You know.
Well, maybe we should clarify. In Gen 2, there are keywords.
Yeah.
So, like, say, normally it's x86.
Well, it's x86 if you have an x86 processor.
Most people have an x86
Some people
processor.
have PPC,
an
AMD 64.
Yeah. But anyway, so that's like the normal keyword, and you compile things. But some things are a little bleeding edge. So, like, version 9 of something will be out in x86. But 9.1 will be released under tilde. So you don't install that right away. It only moves to x86 when it's stable.
Well, it's called tilde is testing. So when they make a new e-build, right? I made a new e-build for the new version. You put it in testing.
Yep.
And then as soon as it's been tested enough, they take the tilde off.
Star is like, yeah, I haven't even really compiled this yet. Here you go.
Yeah, it's like we made an e-build. Here it is. And the thing about testing is like when it's stable, that means it works on any machine with, so if it's sometimes you'll see a package, it'll be like stable x86 and PPC, but if you have an AMD 64, it'll still be tilde.
Yeah.
But if it's regular x86, that means it's guaranteed to work on any x86 computer no matter what your combination of software is.
Unless you have something broken.
It's not a guarantee or a warranty, but it means that they've tested it. If your system is functioning
properly, it will run on your processor.
Yeah, 99%. But they don't make a guarantee about it, but it's pretty much guaranteed. Minus Star isn't like tilde is saying we don't guarantee it might screw you because
Star
we haven't
is saying
tested
I
everything.
guarantee this will break your computer. Go away.
Yeah, there's a very slim chance it won't break your computer. You have to be like a real magician.
Yeah, if you want to see Enlightenment 17, get that CD and look at how pretty it is, and then just forget about it because you'll never get it.
You'll get it like a year from now, or you can just take that live CD and install from the live CD. The problem is the window manager crashed on me a bunch, but it does crash very gracefully.
Yeah, that's so much better than not crashing.
Well, Windows, it crashes, right? And then you can't do anything, and pretty much your only resource is to reset the whole computer with a hard reset. When Enlightenment crashes, it's just like, I've crashed. Will you please click this button, and now it'll start up again. And it starts up again in like 2 seconds. And that's the other good thing is that X won't crash, but Enlightenment will crash. So all your windows will just lose all their windowing, and then they'll gain it all again. So you don't actually lose anything. Window Manager's crashing isn't so bad. X crashing, you'll lose all your running X applications.
Yeah.
But that doesn't happen.
Actually, no, I haven't had it happen, except when I had video card broken things a long time ago.
Yeah. What's really funny is that I heard an interview with the Enlightenment guy, and apparently he's developing Enlightenment 17, using Enlightenment 16, running on an X server in OS X. So he has a Mac running OS X, with X running on that, with Enlightenment 16 running on that, with an X Nest running Enlightenment 17, to test Enlightenment 17 as he codes it.
That reminds me of back at RIT when you would SSH into a CS machine, and then SSH from that back to your machine, and then from that to another machine, and then you try to X-forward over all that.
Yeah, with a 3D program.
Yeah.
It worked.
Yeah.
If you make a loop of SSHs, or you try to, go back at all, SSH, freaking complains. It's like, oh my god, security, someone's spying on you, oh my god. Which I guess is good. It's that smart.
Yeah.
Can't fool SSH. It's really secure.
Hey, you can fool SSH1.
No one uses SSH1.
You'd be surprised.
No, I wouldn't.
I know a lot of people who... There's a 2? Mostly
I don't even specify 1 or 2. 2 is the default. You can't use 1.
A lot of people are running old Red Hat 7 machines that only support 1 unless you go into updates.
Don't they notice that red spinning thing that says update me?
No, the update, remember, Red Hat 7.2 is still supported and gets updates automatically. 7.1 and 7.3 you have to sign up for the Red Hat network, and you don't get all the updates, and it doesn't work so well. Don't use Red Hat 7.1 or 7.3.
I never understood this old version of Red Hat thing. You know what? It's you get
Red Hat does not even upgrade its kernel gracefully. Newer ones do, but old Red Hat, if you tried to upgrade the kernel, you'd probably just hose your entire system.
See, it bothers me so much. Is like there are companies out there trying to be good. They make a Linux software, right?
Yep.
And it might be for sale. It might be for proprietary Linux
But
software.
that's fine. I just want software.
Yeah, they make software for Linux, but they make it and they send it to you with like a distribution of like Red Hat 7.
Great. I really wanted that.
They've tested it on Red Hat 7, and they've tested it with like Linux standard base.
But then, it uses this weird Red Hat thing, or, it doesn't do this
It won't
right.
work on any other distribution except for the one they've sent you.
I've had installers, and it was installer, and the script started, and it would check for some, like, system variable, but it would check for it in a form that no modern Linux uses, and then it wouldn't install because it said, you're not running the right blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it's like what I would have to do is, like, sometimes under the hood, there's a program that will just work normally, but they've written this whole suite of install scripts to get it to install. I would go in and I would modify all the install scripts to make them just be normal and just copy the files to my hard drive that needed to be copied. And then it would be a normal LSB executable, whatever. I just run it and it would go.
Yeah.
Because I had this all the libraries it required, and they were just newer versions, but they were backwards compatible, and it just worked. But they write this crazy install system to make it easy for you on the Red Hat distribution they give you or something, and then it just doesn't work.
Yep. Plus, some companies, they make like a standard, like, all right, our installs will always go this certain way. Like, IBM is real bad about this. So all the IBM software out there that you can buy, there are Linux versions of all the servers and the clients and the agents and everything. But they install, like, Windows programs. Like, they put all their stuff in, like, a folder somewhere on your file system. Mm. And then they don't put their executable in bin. They put it in, like, this crap place. Yeah, it hurts.
Well, I mean, sometimes if you install, some things are supposed to go in opt. Like if you install OpenOffice, like, it's supposed to go in /opt/OpenOffice, and then all the files are in there, and then in /user bin, there's a symlink to the OpenOffice executable. Or you include /opt/OpenOffice/bin in your path, right? Or something like that.
Yeah, there are a multitude of ways.
Yeah. And that's the way it's supposed to be because it's like a pre-compiled program or, anything that's like big like that will do that. Like in Gentoo, if you merge Firefox bin, it goes in opt Firefox bin.
Yep.
But if you build it, it goes in USR and everything's split up how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Which is the correct way. But people, they make things not people are making free software free for no money, right? Like GNU.
And they follow the standards and they do things right.
And things work on every distribution with almost no effort, and if it's a source-based distribution, no one has to modify anything.
But then there
and
are
if it's
people
a binary distribution, one guy compiles it and it works on all the computers.
Yeah, when was the last time you tried to run an RPM and it didn't install and you were using the right version?
Yeah, and you had all the dependencies. And you did force, and it successfully installed, and then it didn't run. And you modified your path, and you found the file, and you ran it, and it didn't run.
Yeah, often with an obscure error message like nothing.
Yeah, it's because someone out there took the source for that program.
Are you sure it was a seg fault? Are you sure it wasn't nothing?
Nothing. Because someone out there took the source for that program and compiled it to work on a machine, and it worked on that machine.
Worked on his machine.
But they didn't test it on every other machine in the known universe and any other different Linux. They only tested it on, like, a bare Red Hat 7 install. It's like you could have a Red Hat 7 install, and if you add 2 pieces of software before you install theirs, doesn't work because the library got replaced. These people just don't understand Linux, and they make Linux software like Windows software. It's just not good.
But the people who do it for free often do a better job.
Because people do it for free know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Problem is that the people who, trying to make something to sell don't listen to the people who do it for free. And if they gave them some money, they could probably be rich. But no, now they're just schmoes.
And that was Geeknights with Rem and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for the opening music.
Thanks for listening. Please remember to point your favorite podcatcher at feeds.feedburner.com/geeknights to get the latest episodes as soon as they're released. Also, please visit our website at www.frontrowcrew.com for the latest updates and forum discussion. And whether you love or hate our podcast, we won't know unless you send your feedback to us at geeknights@gmail.com.